Hi Virgo and Virgo rising. This is your November 2016 forecast. So November is said to be quite a busy, industrious and communicative month for you, very mentally stimulating, but also lots of opportunities for romance and recreation too, so not to worry. So let's look at what's happening this month. The Sun is going to be in your third house of communications and your immediate environment until the 22nd of November. So the Sun in the third, you should really make clear communication a goal at this time. You know, it increases the tempo of everyday activities, so there's more general busyness, and this is definitely going to be the case because Mercury will be in the third house too until the 12th of November. So this is really the house where Mercury has its joy, so lots of communication, lots of mental stimulus, you know, searching for all the information that you need, so really gathering resources in terms of information, you know, making lots of phone calls, texts, communications, so lots of discussions with people in your immediate environment, more so than usual. So more phone calls, more texts, but more discussions with business colleagues and family members and neighbors even. So the everyday pace really picks up, but it's happening in a very stimulating, motivating and creative way for you. So, you know, you'll enjoy it and you'll enjoy the resourcefulness and practical attention to detail that this is going to stimulate for you. So in the last week of the month, the Sun will then be shifting into the fourth house, and this will bring things down a notch. You know, the Sun in the fourth will have focus on kind of family connection to people that are near and dear to you. So, you know, discussions around with parents perhaps, and also rooted in the home. So, you know, a bit of a nesting energy. For some of you, it could mean like a bit of home decorating, making things very comfortable and nice for yourself. And also your mind tends to drift to the past and ruminate on past events. So, you know, very good for getting in touch with yourself. So the last week of the month, things will tune down just a little bit. So like I said, Mercury will be in your third house until the middle of the month. And here, you know, lots of group discussions, lots of intellectual activities. And if you're in business, this is very good for opening business discussions and negotiations. So it's a good time to gather information, establish everyone's position. And as I said, clear communication should really be the focus at this time. So as it relates to business or selling yourself, you know, it's going to be a good time to, like I said, be very clear about where everybody stands, gather all the information, get all your ducks in a row. So very good for opening business contracts and negotiations. So Mercury will move into the fourth house in the middle of the month from the 12th of November. So here Mercury is going to be more, your mind is going to be more on family and the home and personal matters. So this can show discussions with parents, with relatives, you know, with close family members. So very good time to have kind of intellectual discussions about things. You'll be feeling a little bit more detached, you know, not as emotionally, viscerally involved with things. So it's very good for just sorting things out mentally without, like I said, the emotional charge. You'll be feeling a little bit more detached. So very good time for discussing your intimate feelings and ideas on things. So, you know, good for getting those things into the open without being too emotionally invested. So Venus is also moving into your fifth house, and this is happening from the 12th of November. So Venus in the fifth house, this is the best possible placement for love relationships, very good for starting new romances. It's also very good for deepening existing romances in the sense that you're able to have more fun, you're able to express your feelings very well. So feeling close to people, connected to people. So Venus in the fifth also really just wants to have a good time. So, you know, this is going to be fun times. So like I said, although lots of busyness, you know, there's certainly the opportunity for pleasure and excitement and fun. So Venus is a very creative planet as well. So this can be good for creative self-expression. And for those of you that aren't creative, you know, you can use this energy to appreciate Venusian things like concerts, art exhibitions, and performances in general. So lots of fun potentially and romances, and some of you could be starting a new romance at this time. And for existing relationships, it's a good energy for just injecting fun back into the relationship and really expressing your feelings to somebody else. So until the 9th of November, Mars will be in your fifth house. I mean, and this is where Mars has really been pushing for creative self-expression, you know, to develop your unique talents and abilities. And in Capricorn, Mars has certainly been very industrious in these areas. It's also been pushing for, you know, more physical activities. So, you know, more physical expression of ego drives and ambitions. And from the 9th of November, Mars is moving into your 6th house. And here Mars is really going to be able to defer immediate gratification, which was a little bit harder in the 5th house, you know, because the 5th house is all about recreation and play and enjoyment. The 6th is all about work, duties, and responsibilities. So Mars can really be very industrious in the workplace. So, you know, while things are happening romantically, things are also, you know, you're fulfilling all your professional duties and obligations, and you're very driven, you know, to get things done in the office, to get things organized and efficient, and to really get things structured in terms of health as well, because it's the house of work and the house of health. So, you know, that's where the energy is going to be. So if you feel that, you know, those ego energies of Mars aren't getting enough recognition in the 6th house, which is a service house, then make sure you incorporate exercise into your daily affairs just to burn off a little bit of steam. Okay, so let's look at what's happening in terms of transits this month. So there's a beautiful new moon in your 3rd house on the 30th of October, but this new moon energy runs right until the middle of the month in its waxing phase, and until the new moon at the end of the month as well. But this new moon is when you want to take the initiative, start up projects, and because the Sun, Moon, and Mercury are in your 3rd house, you know, this could be launching new business projects, opening contract negotiations. The Moon and Mercury together put you really in touch with your feelings and intuitions, you know, so you've got a good gut sense of things. But, you know, the Sun and Mercury also make you very sharp and focused and clear in your communications. So this is really a push for creative projects, partnerships, opening business contracts. So make sure you run with that energy, because you'll have the capacity to take initiative and communication wise at this time, and your communication will be quite superb. So on the 7th, the Sun is sextiling Pluto between your 3rd and 5th houses. So this is a very good aspect for making changes to your immediate environment. And you know, so if there's something that you're unhappy with, you'll have a very clear idea of what is making you unhappy and have an idea of how to resolve it also. So this is a very good aspect for clearing the decks, a new start, and just to realign your interests with other people, just to make sure you're on the same page. So good for a bit of house cleaning. So on the 14th, there's a full moon in your 9th house. So where the 3rd house is our immediate environment and day-to-day concerns and everyday routine, the 9th house is the house of, you know, our ideals, our higher truths, you know, how we align ourselves, you know, in a more meaningful way. So, you know, you're looking for new experiences, and you're looking for something that's going to take you beyond the day-to-day affairs to something larger. And for some of you, this can happen through travel, or even a vacation, or a new course of study. So see how you can, you know, take things from the day-to-day concerns to something more significant and meaningful for you. So on the 19th, Venus is sextiling Neptune from the 5th to the 7th house. And this is a very creative and romantic aspect. You know, it really arouses your imagination, and you're a lot more sensitive to beauty, and you know, your feelings are more in touch because you're feeling more empathetic to the needs and sensitivities of other people too. So because this is in your social houses and romance houses, this can be very good for love relationships and really connecting to somebody in a more profound way. And it's also just good for any kind of escapism through love and beauty. So this could be a scenic adventure or a love connection. So see how it works out for you, but make use of it. So on the 22nd and the 23rd, there are some very good business aspects happening. Mercury is sextiling Jupiter, and these planets are very good for opening business contracts and negotiations again. But you know, Jupiter helps you see the big picture, and Mercury helps you be more detail orientated. But Mercury is also conjuncting Saturn at this time, and you know, Mercury and Saturn together, although a little bit more serious, are very detail focused. So there's a lot of clear thinking, logic. If you need to get ideas down onto paper, this is going to help you do that. So clear, concise thinking, attention to detail, but also seeing the big picture. So a good time to open business contracts and to put things on paper and finalize them too. So on the 24th, Jupiter is squaring Pluto, and this is a very prominent aspect in the American election, but in our personal lives it shows also where we strive for a little bit of power. And because Jupiter's in your second house, this is probably where you want to feel more financially grounded, independent, and self-sufficient. So see where you can achieve a little bit of mastery in your life, where you don't need to depend on other people, and also consider possibly how you can really make a difference in the lives of people around you or even in the world at large. So on the 25th, Venus is conjuncting Pluto in your 5th house, and this of course is the house of romance and new love relationships and creative projects, and Venus and Pluto together are very intense. So if a new love relationship has started out, this is really going to intensify the connection to the other person. And with existing love relationships, it can also just bond you together more succinctly. But Venus and Pluto, for some of you who are inclined to be a little bit jealous and possessive, it can arouse those sorts of feelings as well. So try and see that you keep it at the heart connection, because, this can really intensify all kinds of love in your life. And very good for creative projects too. So on the 26th, Mercury sextiles Uranus, and this is a very stimulating, electric and alive kind of transit. So Mercury and Uranus together, your mind is feeling quite vital, charged, you're feeling mentally stimulated. If problems have been eluding you, this is a very good problem-solving aspect. It'll help you find an unconventional solution to things. On the 29th, Venus squares Uranus from the 5th to the 8th house. So again, this is a very good aspect for intimacy and doing something exciting with a romantic partner. So if you're in an existing relationship, you'll be looking for more flexibility within the interaction between you. So it's a good time to try something fun, unusual, and new. And the same goes for new romantic partnerships. So, do something that you wouldn't normally do, or, so try something new and fun and Venusian. So go to a concert, go on a picnic, but take yourself out of your normal kind of comfort zone and try something exciting and different. So the month ends with a new moon in your 4th house. And so this is the house of family, rootedness, connection. So some of you might be thinking about home redecoration or even purchasing new property. But because there's problematic aspects to Neptune, the sun and the moon will be squaring Neptune at this time, you won't be thinking particularly clearly. So, wait for the fog to shift. And because people could also misrepresent things to you, Neptune is in your 7th house of partnerships. So wait until you've got all your ducks in a row and all the facts at hand. So not a good time to commit to anything in terms of partnerships or the home. So just take a step back and wait for the dust to settle and, the fairy dust to lift from your eyes, and when you can see things as they really are. Anyway, thank you for listening, and if you've enjoyed this forecast, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to read up more about the new and the full moons, then you can visit my website at www.psyche.co.za. And also, if you'd like a personal reading, you can contact me from my website. Thanks so much for listening.